My name is Mohammed Akunjee. I'm a lawyer in the UK, a solicitor by profession. I specialise in crime and terrorism-related matters. So that's what I was doing until this year. Now I'm standing as a political candidate in the borough, in the constituency of Bethnal Green and Bow, which is going to be renamed Bethnal Green and Stepney. Well, I mean, after October 7th, the issues in Gaza were flooding our social media screens on our phones, computers, and on our television screens. And the UK public as a whole, and particularly the constituency in Tower Hamlets, Bethnal Green and Stepney, the people there were very vocal that they wanted this to stop. They wanted a ceasefire. Now, our MP, Rushnara Ali, is a Labour Party MP, and previously she's made public statements, quite properly, that she supported the Palestinian cause, and she would always support the Palestinian cause. But when it came to this issue, despite the electorate speaking so firmly about it, she decided to abstain on a vote for ceasefire, and that was seen as a betrayal by the community. And this is despite a number of demonstrations in her own borough where simply the constituents were asking her to speak out, and that didn't happen, certainly at that time. Well, the Labour Party, certainly Keir Starmer has conducted many U-turns from his stated position before on various issues, but particularly also on the Palestine issue as well. There is a deep problem with the Labour Party as it presents now compared to what it has been in the past, and that's been vocalised by the public on many occasions. In terms of Rushnara Ali, the 56 MPs in the Labour Party decided not to go with Keir Starmer's order effectively to abstain or to vote against a ceasefire. So there were a number of Labour MPs who were willing to vote with their principles rather than by the order from central office, and unfortunately Rushnara wasn't one of them. And so yes, the Labour Party is a problem. There are good people, MPs in the Labour Party who vote by principle, and unfortunately Rushnara's choice to abstain from that vote showed that she was differentiating herself from them and actually going with the orders from central office. Yeah, I mean, this is a very confusing in terms of political position. Before this after October the 7th and before this current phase, before the ICJ ruling, 75% of the British public was in favour of a ceasefire. Now, we're coming up to an election year. Politically, that should be a very strong message to any political party that all you have to do is to ask for the rule of law and international law to be applied, and that's what the public want. But both our political parties, the government and the so-called opposition, they both chose to stand against the view of the public, and also, in terms of international law, it's very clear that war crimes are being committed there, and yet they weren't willing to stand up and support the principle of international law and the principle of protecting civilian life. And so for the electorate, that is a clear message that both our political parties simply aren't listening to them. And that's a deep problem that actually this sort of political movement of independence really represents. That we are now not being listened to, we haven't been listened to for a long time, and now on some fundamental issues where there's real human suffering on the back of that, that's how much we're not being listened to. Well, my message is to not just the constituents that we want to represent them and give them a direct connection with Parliament, so their views will be represented directly with Parliament and not watered down by a political party putting different interests over the interests of the constituents that they have. That's a strong message, because our message is that the party political system has been shown to be completely broken, and that affects our democracy. To get our democracy back, we need to bring independence into the fore in Parliament so they can honestly represent, without watering down, the views of their constituents. Well, in Parliament, if we are given the honour of standing there, we will vocalise the issue of the Palestinians because it's a crucial issue for the world. Now, often people will say that, oh, Palestine is far away, but it isn't far away. It's here, it's our tax money that's being spent to support something that's destroying civilians. So that money that this country is willing to spend in that direction and towards supporting other military conflicts there is money that we're taking away from our constituents who are in real need of education, housing, and dealing with the cost of living crisis that we have now.